A few days ago, I had closed and announced the biggest deal of my life. I'm telling you guys very behind the scenes because I want you guys to understand our world, and I don't think enough business owners or entrepreneurs actually talk through details. I like to walk you through every detail, good, bad, ugly, because I want to have these discussions for you guys so you can have these discussions with your friends, staff, followers, future clients, future deals, people you haven't even met yet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a state of emergency. No, I'm just kidding. The Money Monday special edition episode where it's just me and the real Tarzan here. We have got some things to talk to you about today. We wanted to make a special episode because a few days ago, I had closed and announced the biggest deal of my life. I've gone public before. I've had a lot of situations in the past, a lot of business deals. But the reason I say this is the biggest deal of my life is I merged together my whole events world with someone else's whole events world. And together, we're going to throw 42 events next year.
42 events.
I got tired thinking about that, but I like it. So, Real Tarzan, as you guys know, gets over 200 million views a month across social media, talking about animals, posting about animals, showcasing animals to you for your enjoyment and for your knowledge. Today, we're going to do a special episode with no guest because I want to talk to you about merger deals. How do you come up with it? How do you negotiate it? How do you work through it? What happens when you combine staffs together? Do you fire people? Do you hire people? Do you scale? Do you cut? What do you do when you merge people together and there's inefficiencies or more efficiencies? How do you negotiate? Who gets what? Who works where? If there's offices in different cities, what happens? I'm going to walk you through real life behind the scenes of my merger deal and other merger deals and what you guys can be thinking about if you ever decide to do a merger, an acquisition, an exit, raise capital, etc. But the real Tarzan sitting right next to me. He's been traveling around the planet. He's got a lot of interesting missions that have just happened. So I want to make sure that we also talk about animals, business, money, and life on this special edition of the Money Mondays. All right, let's get into it. So what did I do? Well, there's a company called Aspire Tour. You guys can see it. It's aspiretour.com. They have events all over the country, sold out in advance. 2,500 people on average at every event. That is very hard. And when I say very hard, I mean like really, really hard. Because, as you know, Tarzan and I go to lots of events every single week around the country. Most events are 300 to 1,000 guests. And that's hard. So imagine 2,500 people over and over and over and over. San Diego, Los Angeles, New York, Dallas, Miami, sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. Aspire Tour was created by Andrew Cordell and Eddie Wilson. These two guys have been in the seminar game for decades, but also in the business game for decades. Andrew Cordell has sold, I don't know, I think it's like over 100 million from stage or some crazy number. And Eddie Wilson has been involved in 85 exits. So he understands how to buy and sell businesses, create value, etc. So at these Aspire Tour events, there's only half a dozen speakers, which is also crazy because when you think about most events have 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 20 speakers to help sell out an event. They've got 6 and half of them are them. Now it'll be 7 because I got to go speak around the country with them at these events. But they only have like 3 celebrity athletes that are speaking and then them, the team. So how do they do it? That's what was mind-boggling to me. I'm like, wow, I'm already working with them. I'm sending them different celebrities and athletes. They already book Magic Johnson, A-Rod, Marcus Lemonis, The Wolf of Wall Street, Barbara Cochran. They have all these great speakers and they execute for the last couple of years from friends of mine that they build relationships with and they go speak at their events. So there's already that connection. I went and spoke at their events in multiple cities and at their masterminds. As you guys know, I have a mastermind that's $100,000 per person. They have masterminds that are $15,000 and $25,000. So we started to think about what if we started combining these things together. So recently at the Ontario event, where again they had tons of people there, Marcus Lemonis speaking, etc. We were talking backstage right before I was speaking, and I was like, my arena event's coming up. It's called the Limitless Arena. You can go to thelimitlessarena.com, September 23rd, Salt Lake City. We've got Gary Vee, David Goggins, Andy Frisella, Ed Milet. I'm throwing that with someone called The Muscle, who's been on some episodes with us and talked with us before. And during that one-day event with Russell Brunson and all these amazing speakers, and hopefully a big surprise performer at the end, I mentioned to these guys at Aspire Tour that I'm throwing this huge event called the Limitless Arena. And they're like, wow, you're going to try to get 7,000 people in the arena? We'd like to do that. We already fill up 2,500 people month after month after month. We've got all the equipment. We've got over $500,000 of audio visual equipment and semi trucks and 85 employees. I was like, whoa, that's impressive. That's really cool. Go on stage, do my thing for 25 minutes, real quick speech, come back out, and we just start to like deep dive into it and really talk about what would it look like if we combine efforts. I have elevator nights, which are totally free. I've thrown elevator nights 53 times. Elevator nights has around 300 to 1,000 guests for free for the last decade. They're only 4-hour events, nice and free, but it's just my excuse to get people to come so that they can hear from Tarzan, Jake Paul, Russell Simmons, Neil Patel. I get really fun, cool speakers that would normally I'd pay $25K or $50K to speak for free because they know it's a free event. So I have free events, elevator nights. I throw the world's largest toy drive. This will be our 10th year. The world's largest toy drive last year broke the Guinness Book World Records. We have the world's largest pizza festival, which we've thrown twice. First one we had Tyga, 2 Chainz, Wiz Khalifa. The one 2 years ago, we had Steve Aoki and Lil Wayne, my favorite. Steve Aoki threw me in the pool, not my favorite. And so they just thought to themselves, they're like, the Aspire Tour guys, Andrew and Eddie, were like, wow, you've got the world's largest pizza festival, the world's largest toy drive, elevator nights, which is free, $100,000 per person event called the 100 Million Mastermind Experience. And then here at the ranch where we're parked right now, our RV motorhome, the Money Mondays motorhome, is parked right now at our 26-acre ranch, which part of it is about 4 acres for what's called Operation Black Site. So 9 acres is dedicated to Tarzan, where he's got all the animals, right? His animal sanctuary is called Wild Jungle, WYLD Jungle. You can go on Instagram or other platforms. Go check out Wild Jungle. You'll see Tarzan's really fun content with all the ostriches and zebras and camels and everybody in between. So 9 acres or so and growing is for the animals. And then 4 acres is for Operation Black Site. OperationBlackSite.com is where you can learn with Bedros Koulian. He owns over 600 gyms. I know it's a lot of information, but I want to just put out my whole life to you guys. He owns over 600 gyms. Bedros and I created Operation Black Site years ago, where you can learn how to do fighting from Michael Chandler, the guy that's going to be fighting Conor McGregor, is going to teach you how to fight. Tim Kennedy, the guy that's killed hundreds of people legally, he's military. He's going to teach you how to shoot. Then you've got like Tony Blauer, who teaches defense systems for like 30 years. You've got all these interesting, powerful characters that teach you how to shoot, how to fight. FBI agents and CIA agents are going to teach you how to get out of like handcuffs and duct tape. So that one is $20,000 for the year to go to 3 weekends of these experiences. Now, with this whole merger deal, we're going to make another version that's only $12,000 come for these weekends. So if you don't want to come for the whole year, come to one intense weekend. So every price point is covered in our minds in this merger deal where nothing overlaps. Let me walk you through it again. Elevator nights is free. 53 times. Going to keep throwing those. We're going to start throwing elevator nights the night before a lot of the Aspire Tour events. So they'd be a paid 2,500 person event. Those Aspire Tour events tickets are $50 to $500. The night before, we'll throw elevator nights for free. In a lot of these cities, because we're already set up with $500,000-$600,000 of production equipment, so it's already set up. Why not throw a free event the night before for a couple hours for networking for local entrepreneurs that either can't afford to buy a ticket or just want to come network or go to both? So elevator night is free. Then you have $50 to $500, which is Aspire Tour. This Thursday, you guys are listening to this right now, Monday. This Thursday, we have A-Rod, Marcus Lemonis, Barbara Cochran in New York City at the Jacob Javits Center. And I'll be out there for that. Maybe I can convince Tarzan to fly out there with me. The month after that, we've got Gary Vee, Kevin O'Leary, Drew Brees, Jesse Itzler. In San Diego, the venue holds 2,800 people. And hopefully the fire marshal isn't listening, but we've already sold 3,100 tickets to a 2,800 person event. That's not till next month. You see why I love these guys? The efficiency of what they're doing with just having a half a dozen speakers and selling out something that far in advance. So you got free, $50 to $500. And then they have what's called the Money is Mastermind. Money is Mastermind is $15,000. That's where they teach you about money, accounting, finances, LLCs, infinite banking, family-related banking, investments, etc. So it's an affordable mastermind. Masterminds are important. You're going to hear me talk about masterminds on almost every episode forever because that's how I've built my life, is being around smart people. That's what masterminds do. It's a fast-forward way for you to surround yourself with interesting characters and people to learn how to save money, make money, get networking relationships, etc. Then they have what's called the Power Room Mastermind for $25,000. This is for more business owners. They've got over $1 million, $2 million in sales. Some of them have 5, 10, 20 million in sales. They want to connect and make relationships with other business owners at a higher level. So you've got a 15K and a 25K. Guess how many members they already have? That's right. 520 mastermind members at 15K and 25K already before me. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. If you got 520 before me and I've been doing masterminds my whole life, this is going to get interesting of what we could do together. Then you go up to the next level, 100 million mastermind experience. You guys can see that one at 100mme.com. It's $100,000 per person, sold out every year since 2019. 100 people max, 100,000 per person. So that's a $10 million a year business on my side. So you can start to see things, right? Elevator Nights is free. I pay for that. That's a hard cost that I pay for to keep the events free for people. I have a $10 million a year revenue business that's creating these mastermind events called the 100 Million Mastermind. And now in between there, price point wise, you've got a low ticket, $50 to $500 Aspire Tour, a 15K mastermind that's affordable, great for startup entrepreneurs, business owners, a 25K mastermind for entrepreneurs, business owners are doing 1, 2, 3, 4 million. And then in between there, Operation Black Site, if someone wants a totally different experience to learn how to fight, shoot, etc., they can go to Operation Black Site. So you start to see why the merger starts to become really interesting and why I invested, why is this all happening? Because I got more comments on this than pretty much any post I've ever done in my life. Outside of my grandfather passing and my wedding, this is number 3 by far. Like, it's insane. Out of 6,000 or 7,000 posts I've done, this is number 3. Because people are seeing a $72 million a year events business that I'm now buying a big piece of and merging all my world into. It's a big decision. So let me walk you through my decision. I think you're hearing a bit of it, right? They already have affordable price point. They've already proven the success by having 520 members at that 15K to 25K range. We now have what's called an ascension model. An ascension model is important for most businesses is if someone is willing to pay 15K to 25K, and then as they ascend over time, let's say Tarzan has a $3 million business. He joins the group. And after a while, he becomes a $9 million business and then a $16 million business. He might want to join the 100 million mastermind club and pay $100,000 because he's ascended in his career. He learned what he could in the 15K, 25K mastermind, got a lot of relationships. So he went to Money Is or Power Room. And now he wants to ascend to the 100 million mastermind because he wants to meet people that are doing 5, 10, 20, 30, $40 million. That's called an ascension model. We have free, $50 to $500, 15K, 20K, 25K, 100K. That's an ascension model. You can also descend. There may be some people that are doing this high level that also want to only pay 15K or 25K and network with people because it's good for their business. They might be an accountant, a publicist, an investor that wants to meet more entrepreneurs, someone that wants to be immersed with other business owners. They might have like a merchant account company. They want to meet other business owners to set up merchant accounts for. Like they might go join a 15K or 25K to immerse themselves with other business owners. But now, whether you're in 100K, a free, or anything between, you now have options for yourself, your friends, your staff, and everyone around you. But wait, there's more. Because just like in every episode with Tarzan, we talk about charity. Andrew and Eddie already have built 16 schools. They feed 4,000 times a day already through their charity organization in third world countries. They go out to Africa and actually already have it. I saw pictures, I saw videos. I've known these guys for years. And so from my heart perspective, they're already aligned with me. When you're choosing a business partner, they have to be aligned with your morals, your standards, the way you work. That's obviously why Tarzan's here, why we built the Wild Jungle together, why he moved from Miami here is that we've known each other for over half a decade, way longer than that, but like worked together over half a decade. And we were aligned to our mission and work ethic. I've watched Tarzan day in, day out for a decade, even before I didn't even really know him. Watched him work morning, noon, and night. He'll get 90 million views on a video, go clean up poop for 2 hours, not complain about it, go get 52 million views on another video, go feed animals for 4 hours. Like he lives and breathes it. So that's why this was a exciting partnership for me, but a natural partnership because we were aligned that he saw the way I work in the business space and I saw the way he worked in creating content and helping animals because he loves it for real, not like for Instagram or social media. He does this stuff without a camera 20 hours a day. Let's just be clear. You guys see snippets here and there, but he's out there feeding 188 animals, whether you like it or not, whether you're watching or not. He's out there dealing with poop, food, and everything in between because they like to eat and they like to poop. So you need to find those natural relationships and natural partnerships. Is very important. if you see things in a merger deal early or before you even get into one where you don't know if you'd like to actually have dinner with that person or introduce them to your family or friends, or you have to make excuses for them, don't work with them. The things that you see early is almost the same thing as boyfriend, girlfriend, type relationships of like, oh, I can fix them, or oh, I know they like to do X, Y, Z, and I could get over that. You're not going to get over it. Like the things that you see that you don't like early, like if you know that they snore every night and you're not going to be able to sleep, okay, well, you better plan to sleep in different rooms. Otherwise, you're going to get frustrated and resentful no matter how hot that person is or how much you think you like them. At some point, if you don't like snoring, just be clear, that's not going to go away. And so if you see something early in a deal, in a merger, you're like, I really don't like the CEO, or I really don't like the way they do this, or they don't have a charity component. They actually said they don't like charity. Okay, well, that's not going to change. I don't ever try to change someone. Like, what's that saying? You can't change the spots on a leopard or whatever, cheetah. Like, you're not going to change them. And so you need to think about these things early. Vice versa, if you see things that you really like, now you can double down. I've already seen that Andrew and Eddie with Aspire Tour have already done 16 schools. They're already feeding 4,000 people a day. Okay, well, let me put some gasoline on the fire. Let's go from 4,000 people a day to 10,000 or 20,000, et cetera, over the course of time. You build 16 of those things. Let's build 32. Let's build 64. Let's just go build, because now I know that they care about something and I can try to bring my resources, my efforts to that, and vice versa. They're ready to help us with the world's largest toy drive. This is our 10-year anniversary. So we're going crazy, and we're doing 10 cities in a 2-week period to do 10 toy drives in 2 weeks. We already broke the Guinness Book World Records for the largest toy drive ever. Now we're just going completely overboard because we have a machine behind us. Now we have an 85-employee company that cares about charity, that wants to help it succeed. Okay, so I think you guys get the main idea. How does a merger work? Imagine if there was parts of this that I said that overlapped, you would have inefficiencies or what's called redundancies. A redundancy would be, let's say they have a chief marketing officer and I have a chief marketing officer. They have a CFO and I have a CFO. If they don't need 2 CFOs, one's got to go. If it didn't have this much work involved, well, maybe you don't need multiple. It's a redundancy. And so if that person's making $120,000 a year, 180, 240, $300,000 a year, they've got some fancy job, and you've got 2 of them, you're going to cut one. So some people do mergers in order to do that, right? You'll see it happen where beverage company mixes with beverage company, they combine together. They're like, oh, well, we only need 1 paid ads manager. We only need 1 videographer. We only need 1 paid content person. We only need 1 blah, blah, blah. There's only 1 national sales manager. So sometimes there's an efficiency by cutting out the redundancy, meaning you don't need to have 2 national sales managers. You probably only need 1, unless they're going to stick with the brand that they're currently in. And so sometimes mergers are to combine efforts and cut people and to reduce overhead by doing that. In this case, I literally went on stage, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday when we did the announcement, to the 85 employees in Jacksonville, Florida. And I mentioned to the crowd, hey, 85 employees in the room, just to be clear, my team, the people that I'm bringing to the table, some of them were in the room. My CEO, Joey Carson, Shannon Hardage, who you know very well, who throws our events here at the ranch and all of my events. They were in the room. And I was very clear. I said, just so you guys are aware, from the employees that I have from all of my events and the employees that are here, no one's getting fired. Not when it relates to the merger. So there is no redundancies. And if they are, there's so much work for us to do because there's so many different brands and so many different events. I just want to be clear, nobody's getting fired. That one little sentence made a lot of the employees send messages to the main person that was running the business. Started receiving a bunch of messages about how much they thanked me, like how much they wanted to thank me. They don't have my phone number yet. How happy they were to hear that, because in a lot of mergers, people get nervous. You don't want the employees to be nervous. You don't want them to feel like, oh my God, am I going to lose my job because of this exciting merger? That has a double negative, right? They lose their job. That's terrible and tragic because they're like, oh man, I don't want to lose my job. But 2, they don't want to lose their job when something exciting happens, because now they're going to get to miss out on like the scaling, right? What's going to happen of all these events combined together and all the efficiencies that are going to happen. And so I was very clear to say that on stage of like, they're just meeting me for the first time, most of those 85 employees. And I was like, just to be clear, of all the employees that I have, even if there are redundancies, there's so much for us to all do. We're not firing anybody when it comes to this merger. And I'm glad I said it that clearly, and I'm glad that a bunch of them sent messages to some of the executives like, so glad to hear that, because we don't want them to be nervous. That's not the point. All right. So as you can see, the concept of how does it all work together? Now, how do you strike a deal? How do you negotiate when you're talking about bringing two entities together? So the first part is, what is the values of your businesses? How much is this worth? How much is this worth? And not emotionally, but realistically. There's a big difference. Tarzan might love this t-shirt, but he wouldn't go pay $500 for that shirt. In a certain store, that shirt's $500 because of this little tag in the back that says Gucci or Louis Vuitton. All of a sudden, that t-shirt that Tarzan's wearing is $500. He might have got it for $5, $10, $20, $50. It's all based on perception and value to him and to the brand behind it. So when you're working on a merger deal or an investment or an acquisition, whether you're the one selling or you're the one investing or you're the one buying or you're the one merging, keep this in mind. Come up with realistic valuations for each aspect of the business, and then you can add some or decrease some based on the brand. So in this case, there's a lot of brands involved with all the different events that we have together. Each one had different types of brand value. Largest toy drive, largest pizza festival, elevator nights, mastermind, 100. There's so many things on my side of the world. Their side of the world is Aspire Tour, Money is Mastermind, Power Room. They also have what's called Think Realty, which is a 1,000 or 2,000 person real estate conference. There's a lot of moving parts to what they have. And so you start to look at what is each thing valued, how much is each company or each brand valued, then look at your side, how much is each company or each brand valued, and you can come up with what's called a valuation. Okay, if that's worth $27 million, that's worth $100 million, then you can do math on what this deal could look like. What cash needs to be involved? What does it take if you bring together these companies to money you need to bring to the table or money you're saving based on the efficiencies and removing some of the inefficiencies? So you want to start to think about when you're first looking at a deal that you're investing in, acquiring, or you're trying to sell your company, which a lot of people, that's their ultimate goal. They're building their business or their brand, hopefully to sell it. Some people are trying to do it to take it public, but if you think about it, very few companies in history ever actually go public. There's only thousands and thousands of companies, not tens of thousands of companies that go public. And so because of that, you do most of the time think about the exit side, which is selling your company, getting an acquisition. And so how do you justify your valuation? First thing is just numbers. If you're doing 4 million in sales, you can come up with a valuation based on the 4 million sales and based on what your EBITDA is, earnings before income, taxes, etc. Like how much are you actually making on 4 million? Some people you'll see on social media like, oh, I've done over $4 million, but they netted zero or they lost money. They don't bring that part up, right? They just say they did $4 million. There are other people that have a high net profit. They're doing 4 million, but they're netting 1 million or 500,000 or 800,000. That's a really good EBITDA. That's a really good net profit margin. Big difference in valuation if you're a $4 million business netting 800,000 versus a $4 million business netting zero or losing money. Way different valuation. So be realistic. What is your company doing in sales, or what is the company that you're working with doing in sales? What is their actual profit and loss? Like what are they actually doing? Look at all of their accounting, and then you can make real decisions of how you can make these things all work together. Now, as you're doing this, keep in mind egos, personalities, executives. What does the brand look like? What happens if you actually put all these things together? So what we did was, after we completed the whole deal, we first announced it to the 85 employees. Everyone flew in, and we made a great experience for them so they could see everything, hear everything from myself, Andrew Cordell, Eddie Wilson, Alex Smith, who she runs the company, like all the executive teams and all the booking of the celebrities and talent. There's the chief of staff and my CEO, Joey Carson. Everyone's in the room, so they get to hear from, listen to, watch, what is this merger deal? What does it mean for everyone? And we actually had slides. Andrew and Eddie and the team created slides of what does it look like? What are all the things about the business going forward? What are all the brands and moving parts? Because you want to explain everything so that the staff has full awareness. This is important if you have employees. You want to provide as much information as possible clearly. By giving out clarity, you make them feel more comfortable and more excited. The way I finished my speech to all of the people in the room, all 85 of the staff members there and the team members was, I said, Andrew asked me, he said, what is the one final thing you'd like to say to everyone? And what I said was, anything that happens, good, bad, ugly, you think it's bad or scary, tell me about it. Because we can fix it together. If you don't tell me about it, it's like a little scratch or a little wound. Let's say a snake bit Tarzan. If he doesn't fix it, well, in 4 days from now, it's going to be a big gash. And a week from now, he's going to be in the hospital, right? Where he could have fixed this little bite that first happened when the first snake bit him. He could have cleaned it up, put a Band-Aid on it, put some Neosporin or whatever he needed to fix it up. By leaving that gash and not taking care of it, 4 days later, it's a big gash. A week later, he's in the hospital. And God forbid, what could happen if you just left it there for weeks? That's what happens in business when you don't tell someone right away a problem. If you know there's a problem, tell me right away is what I was basically saying to the crowd, saying to all the team members there. That also resonated because you want to have open communication with your staff. You do not want them to be scared of you. So if they're scared of you, they're scared to tell you something like you're going to yell at them like it's their fault because you brought up to them XYZ happened, or you're like, hey, guess what? We can't do this, or we don't have the permit for this, or we can't do this construction, or we can't throw this event here, or the venue said there's no food allowed. Like, tell us now so we can try to fix and resolve it rather than later on when it becomes hospital time or worse, death. And so having open communication is very important. The next day, and I'll wrap up with this part and we'll have Tarzan talk about some of the things going on. The next day, we had 15 of the executives out of the 85 team members in a 8-hour meeting, which normally I don't want to do. Not because I don't want to do it personally. Normally I think it's inefficient to have that many staff members in a long format meeting, anything more than an hour or two. But this is our first time together. We want to map out 2024. We want to map out the whole schedule, and we whiteboarded out everything. I'm telling you guys very behind the scenes because I want you guys to understand our world, and I don't think enough business owners or entrepreneurs actually talk through details. They just say, just work hard. What does that mean? Like, oh, just sell your company. It'd be great. How? Like, we hear so many things across social media from a lot of entrepreneurs or wantrepreneurs, and they don't actually walk through details. And so you'll hear from my content from the Money Mondays and on social media. I like to walk you through every detail. There's only certain things that I have like an NDA or legal things that I might not be able to mention, but I'm going to walk you through every detail that's allowed to, good, bad, ugly, because I want to have these discussions for you guys so you can have these discussions with your friends, staff, followers, future clients, future deals, people you haven't even met yet, future investments, so you can have these type of discussions and think about some of the things that we talk about and what I've gone through, good, bad, or ugly. It's important for people to see and hear those things. So 15 staff members, boom. We're going through the scheduling, mapping out celebrities and athletes. What city? 5,000 people in Atlanta, December 5th and 6th. We got 5,000 people coming there. Great. In LA, February, boom, we're going to do 7,000 person size arena. Back in April, back in Salt Lake City, another 5,000 to 10,000 people. Let's map out who should we book. What is the talent? Is there going to be surprise performances? Is there going to be any performances? Like, we just walk through for 8 hours everything in our worlds, and we went through free events, expensive events, masterminds, what cities, who's going to be there, how do we schedule it, make sure everything overlaps. And there's a binder. I wish I had it right here. It's actually right in the car right there. And there's a whole binder that has a full schedule for the next 16 months. That's efficiency. You want those things to happen. And so talking through all the details and having scheduling and having your team members that can listen to you and can also give you information and feed you like, hey, we shouldn't do it this first week of February because that's the Super Bowl. We don't want to compete with the Super Bowl. Aha, you're right. Let's not do that, right? Hey, we shouldn't do it this weekend because this is happening or this big conference or this thing is happening. You're right. Let's not do that. Let's do it on these days. Having open discussions, doing your research is very important. So why do I say all this? One, there's going to be a lot of events for you guys to be able to come to meet me, Tarzan, the crew, everyone from Aspire Tour, Andrew, Eddie, a lot of these celebrities and athletes, because these events are going to be all over the country. They're already happening all over the country. Now we're going to scale them. Elevator nights. Come hang out with us for free. Literally for free. That's it. There's nothing to sell there. There's no sponsors, no tickets, nothing. It's just free. So you're going to have a lot more opportunities to come to events for free. Elevator nights. $50 to $500 tickets for Aspire Tour. The masterminds, $15K, $20K, $25K range if you want to be part of Money Is, Operation Black Site, or Power Room. $100 million mastermind, $100,000 per person. That's typically sold out, but obviously we want to get new members year after year. And so you're going to have a lot of opportunities to be in our world if it suits you, or it might be your friend your mom, uncle, dad, sister, cousin, someone that you just look up to that you might want to refer into these type of groups for free, 100K or anything between. We want you to have all the information so that our listeners of the Money Mondays can actually be a part of us in person. We might make Money Mondays events. We've thought about that too. Like, come meet us similar to like elevator nights. We might just do like a live podcast with the RV and just open the door and do a live podcast and have like an A-Rod or someone cool, or Michael B. Jordan, to get somebody cool like here with Russell Wilson live. We might do some of those fun things with you guys, since we happen to have a motorhome and we happen to have live events that are free for people to attend. We're probably going to do that. Now that I talk about it, let's just do it.
Have to.
Right? Just do it.
It's a must.
Okay. So I've talked you through real life events, different price points. What do I think about in merger deals? What you guys should be considering when it comes to investments, acquisitions, partnerships, potentially having overlap in staff, executive, etc. You might be part of a company. You might be an executive or a staff member of a company that's going through a transition or a merger or investment. You should be looking for these things, asking questions, and being prepared for it. And if you notice that that company that they might be merging with might have overlaps in your current position, you should also be looking for another job as a backup. You might win the race, right? You might be part of the merger and you stay on, and the other person that has the same role as you, let's say you're the chief marketing officer, the other chief marketing officer might get fired or laid off, etc. Hopefully you both stay. Depends on the deal. But you should be keeping your options open. So in those times that you're going through a potential merger at a company you work with or work for, you should be considering and taking the time to go look through potentially getting a new job as a backup, just in case. I'm not saying to go leave right away, but you got to protect yourself, especially in this economy, especially in these times. You want to protect yourself and your family, etc. And so, and to protect your career, you should be considering to look at all your options in case something happens for a future merger, in case there are overlapping inefficiencies or efficiencies or redundancies. All right, so I've babbled long enough where you got to hear about my live events, the mergers, etc. Keep in mind for December, the world's largest toy drive. You're going to see Tarzan and I running around to 10 cities somehow in a couple-week period, getting as many toys as humanly possible to give out to the kids. We're not publicly raising capital. You can go out, just give out toys yourself, whether you send toys to our toy drive or just give out toys in your local city. Tag us, don't tag us. We just care about the actual toys getting given to children. We don't care about the notoriety, the fame. You're not going to see my name on the world's largest toy drive. I don't do this for a pat in the back. Neither does Tarzan. We do this because we want you to give out toys to kids. We want you to do charity work. We want you to go out there and show people that you can do charity. You invite a bunch of your friends and staff members to bring toys together. You go give out toys to local homeless shelter, orphanage, etc. You don't even need our toy drive. You can use us for the efficiency because of, we're going to deliver it. You're going to see it on video with tens of millions of views, us actually going out and giving the toys, but you don't need us. You can go give out toys. You can go out and feed the homeless. You can go do back to school drives. You can do a Thanksgiving food drive. We're just showing you how we do it, showing you the behind the scenes. And you'll notice Tarzan we're never out like, hey, give us money for these charities. We rarely send like the link or how to even pay or how to even donate. You're able to if you want to, but we really just want you to replicate it. We want you to go do it in your local town. From Zimbabwe to Minnesota, Florida, wherever you are, you can do these charity things. And we're going to always show you on the Money Mondays podcast, on our social medias, and in real life, how to do charities efficiently, because that's what's important to us. All right. I didn't really breathe much during that 15, 20-minute dissertation, but I think it's important because we didn't want to have a guest for this episode because it's so fresh. We just got bombarded with, I can't even explain the thousands of messages this week. And thank you guys, and questions. Not thank you for that, because that's a lot of work, of messages about this whole acquisition, merger, investment, things that just happened with Aspire Tour, etc. Since we have Tarzan here, and he just flew in, I would like to find out and talk through what is going on with the Wild Jungle, with the brand. You've got 2 new baby alpacas or llamas that just popped up. Like, walk us through, like, what are some of the things going on here at the Wild Jungle as a ranch, as an animal sanctuary, and as a business brand?
Well, man, first of all, congratulations on your big, huge merge. I had so many questions before the podcast started, and you answered every single one of them. So no more questions for that.
Rest my case.
It's really cool to see you go to the next level again. And I'm really excited, being here side by side with you through a lot of different things and seeing you go to, God, there's 52 weeks in a year and you're going to be doing 42 shows.
Yes.
You have 10 weeks of rest. And even in those 10 weeks, you're not going to be rested in those 10 weeks. So yeah, I'm really excited to see, how you do all this and I know you can do it. I've seen you do it at the same scale, but now you have a bigger team. You
Yep.
know, and I was gonna ask you like what was gonna be your strategy, but you already explained how you have, 15 people dealing with this and Super Bowl there, and that's a bad idea, that's a great idea, and it's so cool to see you already,
Think about weather.
Yeah, everything, bro.
You're not gonna do it in Chicago in December, right?
It's bad time.
Yeah.
But going back to the the Wild Jungle stuff, we have so many cool products in the pipeline. As far as animal products, let's go straight to the basics of cats and dogs.
Yep.
Both of us, we both have cats and dogs. We live with cats and dogs. We've seen cats and dogs our whole life. I'm pretty sure you guys have been driving down the street and see people walking their dogs, or stray cats, or even stray dogs all around the world. I want to be able to help and cater to people that have man's best friend right at home. You guys are no stranger. I've been working with big cats for a long time as well too, but I also recently have been working with my small cats because I want to be able to be more digestible to the people at home and say, hey, my cat eats this, or takes a bath with that, or catnip over there, or this vitamin over there.
And this time you're not referring to a tiger or a lion.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually talking about an actual house cat, like a Russian Blue or a Maine Coon or a Bengal cat, and it's cool because I have 5 cats myself and growing. If you guys know, at one point I had like 15 dogs, a whole pack of dogs, and I still have a bunch of dogs here as well too. So we're going to be supplying you guys with good, real, organic dog food, dog treats, cat food, cat treats from, guys know cats are picky. They like seafood, and some like filet mignon, and some like elk, and dogs like this, and they have sensitive stomach and sensitive skin. Now we want to be able to cater to all that with our new Wild Jungle products that's going to be dropping soon, very soon. We hit the button last week.
Yep. Oh yeah, the merch. Some of the merch came in last week.
The merch too.
Shout out to Verid. She's amazing. She has 300,000 square feet in downtown Los Angeles.
I can't tell you.
How do you have that much real estate, by the way, Verid?
How stressful
it's a lot of real estate
has been for these past 6 years, and now that we've had this facility we got for just so good, bro. It's so good to be able to
fast. She's so efficient.
Oh, she is so fast. Like so fast.
She just drives over. She drives over here 90 minutes away. Shows up with, look at this sample. Look at this sample. Look at this sample. We can make sweaters. We can make pants. We can make hats.
Bottles and cups and speakers, and she comes with the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
So for the first time in Tarzan and Wild Jungle history, we're going to have merch available 24/7 starting next week. Like this Mondays, by this Friday, you guys will have merch. Go buy on our website. God. Wild Jungle merch is hitting the streets in like literally 5 days, guys. So I'm excited for you guys to see our new merch coming out.
We've been working with David from BLK Water. You know those tall black waters that have like the really good minerals inside of them? It's called BLK Water. You guys have seen it at every major grocery store, especially all the health food stores. BLK Water is working with us to do some pet water products.
Yes.
Some supplements that you put on top of the dog food.
Topicals make your dog live longer, live a happier, healthier life. Helps beat signs of cancer early. This fulvic acid's like there's just so many different components to these different
Google
ingredients.
Fulvic acid.
It's
It'll blow your
insane.
mind. You're gonna start buying BLK water because it's so like mind-boggling what it can do for our bodies. There's a lot to read about it, but Google fulvic acid. That's what BLK water is so known for, is what they have in there. And the water still tastes great. There's not like some weird residue or taste to it.
My favorite is dirty lemonade.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, from the waters, the pet waters, the dog waters, new energy drinks coming out. We got we covered merch. Toys.
Kev from World Tech Toys. As you guys have seen, for the world's largest toy drive for the last 9 years in a row, it wasn't the world's largest. 8 years of that, it was just toy drive, right? Where we got semi trucks of toys donated by Kev and his brother from World Tech Toys. World Tech Toys is in Los Angeles. They have hundreds of thousands of square feet. They do over $200 million a year in sales of toys. But guess what? We're like, hey, Kev, can you make pet toys? Can you make children's toys that are pet related that say Wild Jungle? He's like, in my sleep. Let's go.
Safari done.
And
Animals done.
2 days later, my house is full of freaking toys that Kev sent from World Tech Toys of like animal science kits and animal testing, like where you can like be a little 5-year-old and like testing things for animal. Like, what?
Sick.
He had it all ready to prepared. And so Kev from World Tech Toys, thank you. We're excited to make Wild Jungle toys for pets and for children of all ages, so they will be able to learn with these different tools about household name pets, dog pets, really rare exotic pets. We're going to work on children's books. We have an illustrator that's been designing some amazing graphics. Her name is Maggie. She's been making some amazing graphics. Like, we could go on and on about the wild jungle, but here's the thing. From a business perspective, we'll just walk you through the reality. We've already put in $2 million. That's going to be the startup budget for Tarzan to create the samples and get the team together to scale Wild Jungle. As it grows, we'll obviously have to raise more capital because retail stores, let me walk you through real life. So let's say Friday, the merch comes out. When you're selling direct to consumer, that's where you're buying from a website, Wild Jungle, you're buying t-shirts and hats. That is direct to consumer, meaning from our warehouse, it's going to get shipped right to you immediately, right? Within the next 1 day to 1 week, depending on the timing, where you live, shipping, etc. When we sell to a retailer, let's say that a big chain store, let's say like Costco or Walmart or Target or someone wants to buy Wild Jungle merch. Let's call it January 1st. They want to place an order just for example purposes. January 1st, Target says, we'd like to buy $2 million of Wild Jungle products from you, Mr. Tarzan. And you're like, oh, no problem. I would love to do that for you, Mr. Walmart. $2 million order sounds cool, but that means we got to come up with $1 million or so to produce those clothes for Walmart. What does that mean? Well, Walmart doesn't pay until either what's called net 30, net 60, or net 90 days. So if they place an order on January 1st and they want a shipment date of March 1st or April 1st, typically 90 to 120 days later, because their systems are big, they need to prepare. That means, let's say we're lucky it's March 1st delivery. 30, 60, or 90 days from that is when they're going to pay us. So Tarzan and I come up with $1 million for this $2 million order from Walmart. Thank you, Walmart. We ship it March 1st. The clock starts ticking of net 30 or net 60, for example. So now April or May is when they're finally going to pay us. But wait, Wild Jungle merch is going to sell out because this kid gets 200 million views a month. So people are going to rush to Walmart to buy it because he's going to be like, hey, guys, buy these shirts at Walmart or Costco, whatever the chain store is. Petco, PetSmart. They're like, wait, what happens if Petco and PetSmart buy from us too? And they want $1 million and they want $2 million. Tarzan and I got to come up with $500K and $1 million to produce those orders. You see where I'm going? So if we all of a sudden get $5 million in orders, which is a good problem to have, but it's still a problem for Petco, PetSmart, Walmart, Whole Foods, Costco, etc., we have to come up with around 50% of that, which is what's called the gross margin. So that's $2.5 million. And then we're not going to get paid until around April or May 1st, if we're lucky that they pay on time. But what if we sell out because Tarzan's posting, maybe Cesar Milan or Jay Prehistoric Pets or some of Tarzan's friends start posting, Jay Alvarez, they're like, oh yeah, look at my Wild Jungle shirts. And they go out, everyone goes to the stores to buy them. They do a reorder. And it's like April 17th. And they haven't even paid us yet. And they're like, oh, we want to triple our order for a national order to all 3,000 stores. Sounds cool for a $6 million order that we got to come up with around $3 million to produce. You see the problem? And so oftentimes retail brands, you'll see them raising capital all the time. Even when they have a ton of sales, it's because they need to make the product and then wait 60 to 90 days to ship it and then wait 30 or 60 days after that to get paid. So we start off with $2 million, make all the initial products, make enough samples, make enough units to be able to ship out 1,000 of this, 5,000 that, 2,000 that, 10,000 that. You also heard we have a lot of different SKUs of toys, merch, children's books, dog leashes, dog beds, dog bowls, etc. Like all these things. Well, you need to have 1,000 units, 5,000 units, 2,000 units. That's 50 grand, 30 grand, 20 grand, 100 grand, 20. See how the math starts adding up real quick? You need to have that sitting on what's called sitting on the floor, ready to ship out of our warehouse. A lot of these products will be at the Minimus warehouse in Los Angeles. They have 4 warehouses, hundreds of thousands of square feet, minimus.biz. So that warehouse is going to have hundreds of thousands, maybe $100 million sitting on the floor. That is capital we can't use because we put it into the product. You see where I'm going? And so it's important for you guys when you're listening to or thinking about for yourself of building a brand. Let's say you want to make pillows like these pillows right here for the Money Mondays. If you want to make pillows and you're going to sell that, you're going to need money for production, money for sampling, money for shipping, money for marketing, money for paid ads, money for executives, money for conventions. I can keep going for a long time. How much money you need to build a successful business. So that's why when people say it's rude to talk about money, we think it's rude to not talk about money because you need capital to make more capital. You need money, and we need to have the information so you know going in, you don't raise too little or too much for your business. So that's why the Money Mondays exist, is for things just like this, for you guys out there that are starting business, thinking about a business, or hearing your friends talk about a business, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to start my business with 25 grand. And you're like, how? And you can explain why they need to consider money for marketing, money for sales, money for production, money for lawyers, money for accountants, money for staff, money for travel, money for conventions. There's so many things that you need money for in a business. We don't want you to be underfunded in those situations by just having the information of it not being rude to talk about money. All right. Tell us a little bit more about the Wild Jungle. Let's wrap up to keep us around 40 minutes.
You break this down so well. It's like I have so many like pre-thought questions, when you're like literally in the middle of you talking about things and you just answer them.
You see the bubbles pop up?
It's so dope. But yeah, I'm also on the spectrum of growing.
Yeah.
And we have 30 acres here. We've got 9 acres and growing for animals. We've got babies being born,
Yes.
baby alpacas, baby goats. I mean, there's
A lot
so
of goats.
many baby llamas are being born here. Soon we're going to be getting our birds in. Our bird cage is like 90% done, waiting on our wire to come through.
Yep.
It's just nuts, to see the growth that we've done in less than a year. We had a new barn available down in front of our house, reptile warehouse. We have another barn available where it's going to be getting cold soon. So we're going to start moving some babies and donkeys and other animals down there. It's just so cool to be able to move and groove in our own little world, and the Wild Jungle's growing fast, man. I mean, like, I cannot believe, like, most of the times when we ride out the gate, we just sit and stop and like, bro, we have zebras.
Yeah.
We say it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, bro, we have 3 of them.
There's 3 zebras right outside this RV right this second.
So it's so cool to be able to see it grow, see the products grow behind the scenes. Our content is going ham. I mean, I think we gained like 100,000 followers. It's 96,000 followers to be exact in the past 3 weeks, just from our content rolling. And that's international content. That's Wild Jungle content. We have ostrich content still going viral on TikTok that we posted 8 months ago.
Twisty is very famous.
He's a very, very famous bird, man. We got giraffes coming soon. We've got toucans. We're going to call this one Tupac.
Let me walk you through the giraffe situation. All right, guys. So we've been here for exactly 1 year, right? So we moved in here in August. And in 1 year, we've spent almost $3 million in build out. On top of buying the property, we spent over $3 million building the place out. And there's way more to do, just to be clear. Why do we do it? Number one, hands down, is the animals. How much Tarzan cares about the animals, how much Casey and Kane and Trevor and the whole family here care about the animals. Like, there's a lot of animals to feed. We spend $9,200 a week in hay. Let me say that one more time. We spend $9,200 a week in hay. And every time there's a new mouth to feed, $9,240, $9,280.
It just goes up and up and up and up.
Because we care. So on the giraffe side, there's a couple acres that we dedicated there because giraffes are tall. So we built over there the legal zoning. You need around 8 feet for fencing. We built 14 feet because most giraffes are 14 to 18 feet tall. See, I'm learning. We built a 14-foot retaining wall because we want to put 4 houses, a 2-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and a 4-bedroom on the edge of that wall there, of the retaining wall, so that your backyard could be the giraffes. Kind of like in South Africa, they have that super cool place that's sold out for like 2 years in advance. But we won't be doing Airbnbs here. This is not a for public place, the Wild Jungle. We do some private events. We'll do some weddings. We'll do some masterminds and business conferences here. But we're not open to the public. We don't do like daily tours or anything like that because we want the animals to not be stressed out and having people here all the time. So we do it occasionally, and we have a bunch of extra staff here and volunteers and our full-time staff. There's 12 employees that just focus on feeding and cleaning the animals all the time. Most places have like 0 to 1. We've got 12 full-time dedicated to the animals. So during those type of events or conferences, weddings, things like that, we have a bunch of extra staff to help with making the tours really nice and calm for the animals. The animals love it because they're getting carrots, sweet potatoes, and collard greens. So they're like, get very excited.
Give me more.
Yeah, when they see humans show up, they're like, oh, we haven't eaten in weeks. Give us some extra carrots. The animals like to ask for extra carrots and sweet potatoes. So there's a couple acres dedicated to the giraffes. We're building with a 28-foot barn that's dedicated for the giraffes. And so in the giraffe area, we'll also be having some of our zebras hang out with them. And currently, Habibi and Naomi Camel, our 2 camels. Habibi's my favorite camel. Habibi's my favorite animal here, by the way, just to be clear, because it was our first animal and I got loyalty. So Habibi and Naomi Camel are right there. They will be living with the 2 giraffes. I don't know if Tarzan already has names for it, or maybe Casey or Kane already came up with some names for it, but the giraffes We'll be there 2 to start. Hopefully they make babies. And we've got lots of drafts. Once the draft's here, I might not ever leave again. I might just, sorry guys, I know I'm supposed to go on tour speaking, but if there's drafts here,
They got to come here.
might have to throw all the events here because once the draft's here, I don't really want to leave. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. The reason we try to stick to around 40 minutes for our podcast is most workouts are around 45 minutes. Most commutes to work are around 45 minutes. So we try to keep our podcast around the 40-minute mark so that you guys can enjoy it. We've been staying around the number 1 spot for 126 days in a row. So thank you guys for liking, sharing, commenting, reviewing, reposting. It's really important to us for you guys to like, comment, share, send it out. We have the moneymondays.com. The moneymondays.com is one-on-one. Like we do a video coaching every Monday at 4 p.m. PST here, most of the time at the ranch, or if I'm traveling, I'll do it from a laptop. But the moneymondays.com is $200 a month, or you can prepay for the year. All of the profits are going to our world's largest toy drive, so we're not doing it for the revenue part of it. You'll also notice there's no ads. Have you seen this? We've been doing this Money Mondays podcast ad-free for you guys this whole year. Like we are trying to put out content so that you guys can be better, talk about money, share with your friends, etc. So if you want to be on the coaching calls every Monday at 4 p.m. PST, if you can't make it on a certain Monday, we obviously send out the recordings. You can rewatch them. But myself, Tarzan, my CEO, Joey Carson, we bring on some special celebrities and athletes that pop up there and do these live coachings. The moneymondays.com is where you can actually live ask questions. So we do about 40 minutes of speaking and teaching. I do most of them, so it's mostly me on those. And then every other week or so, or every other 2 weeks, we bring in other characters to come in there and teach you as well. And then I leave around 20 minutes for Q&A sessions, and you're on video with me, and we're going to ask questions. And you're going to be on video with @Trav, who does e-commerce for big brands, or Joey Carson, 30 years in the TV game. So we're not just talking about money on the Money Mondays Zoom calls. We're talking about business, charity, how to deal with mergers and acquisitions. And so it's live coaching for $200 a month for yourself. Maybe you might have a friend to refer to. It's important to us because we want to raise as much money as possible for the world's largest toy drive, because we are doing it in 10 cities. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of money to do that. I'm already spending a ton of money on this one. It's going to cost well over $1 million to produce in 10 cities because, as you can imagine, it costs 6 figures per city. You're going to have Tampa, Jacksonville, Dallas, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, and 3 other cities I can't think of right off the top of my head. Oh, yeah, San Diego, Orange County, and Jacksonville, Florida.
Boom.
Bam, all 10. 10 cities that cost 6 figures each to produce. So if you want some real coaching, go to themoneymondays.com. It's $200 a month, where you can pay a discount and prepay for the year. That money's going to go help us, the world's largest toy drive. But we always have this one main ask. We want you to have more discussions about money. Talk with your friends, your family, your follower, the people that are interacting with you in your world, and have these discussions. They are not tough discussions. We were grown up thinking that it's tough to have discussions. We're going to change that stigma. You guys got to be the ones to do it. Share the Money Mondays with your friends, family, followers. Like, subscribe, comment, go to moneymondays.com, and we'll see you guys next Monday.